Hey there, everybody on YouTube land. It's LordBear90 coming at you with basically a thank you message slash vlog kind of thing, I guess you could say. I apologize for the shaky camera and the very white face as opposed to black behind me. I'm out on my parents' front porch, as you can see. And it's at night, and it's probably 10 o'clock by now. My first take doing this video ran for 30 minutes before I decided to just completely redo it, because I didn't really know what to say. But in this time, I actually know what I want to say, and this is basically a long overdue thank you to a very special guy here on YouTube. 5 years ago, 2008, I had a Generation 1 Red Alert figure. I had just done a video review of him 2 months before on my original YouTube account, LordBear90. I was talking to a really good friend of mine who I had known for several months through YouTube. He made really good stop motions. He still does. He did really good Transformers reviews, a heck of a lot better than mine, by far. Even now, mine suck compared to his. Even his original videos, even his first video was a lot better than mine. Out of the goodness of my heart, I private messaged him. I asked him if he would give me his address, his mailing address, because I wanted to send him I wanted to send him a gift as a thank you for being so entertaining over the last few months at that time, because me and him talked frequently. We talked very frequently, like literally every day when I wasn't at school, because I was a senior at school at the time. Well, actually, I was a junior at the time, but I had just started my senior year after that. But I digress. I told him that I was going to send him a Transformer. He asked me which one. I didn't tell him. I told him that it was a surprise. And a couple of weeks later, I had a comment. After I sent it out, it was my G1 Red Alert when I sent it, that I sent to him. A couple of weeks later, after I had already shipped it out and everything, I got a comment on my YouTube page from one of my other subscribers. I can't remember who he was. I can't remember that poor guy's name, his username. So if you happen to come across, if you remember who you are and you happen to come across this video, I apologize. He told me in a message that this guy had just done a video of G1 Red Alert, the one that I sent to him. The guy that I'm talking about is Nightslash2020. Mike. I went to his video, and I watched his video review of the toy that was originally mine, that I sent to him. He was basically thanking me for sending the video, or for sending the figure in his video, and he reviewed the figure, showed him how to transform it and everything, and commented that I had kept better care of my G1 figure than he did most of his. which I found quite hysterical, because he had more G1 figures than I ever did, obviously, because G1 Red Alert at the time was the only G1 figure I ever had. Anyway, I sent him a message, basically telling him that he was basically saying you're welcome for the figure. I just decided that you could give it a better home than I could. I wanted to expand my collection, and most of my collection at the time was the 2007 movie figures, and Red Alert was kind of out of place because he was a G1 figure, and he was out of place, and I really had no room for him. And at the end of the video, Mike actually made a joke in a video saying, maybe I'll get you something. A little surprise, maybe? And I quote that verbatim. Tone and everything, because that was literally how he said it in the video. A couple of weeks after that video, I got home from school, logged into YouTube, to find that I got a private message. It was from Mike. And it was a question. Basically giving me 3 choices. Masterpiece Optimus Prime, Masterpiece Megatron, or Masterpiece Starscream, the colored version, not the gray version, the colored one at the time. And I asked him why. I messaged him back and asked him why. He responded, I want to send you a birthday present. I didn't know what to say. So I responded to him saying, I'll take Optimus Prime. Because at that time, I had actually been looking for Masterpiece Optimus Prime for the better part of 1.5 years by that point. So he messaged back saying, okay, I'll get you Masterpiece Optimus Prime. And I said, why are you doing this? And he said, because you said your birthday's coming up, and I wanted to give you something. Basically to thank you for sending me the G1 Red Alert. And he also mentioned in that message that not only was he going to send me Masterpiece Optimus Prime, he was going to send me a special surprise afterwards. He was going to send me a special surprise with the figure. I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't know what he even meant. I never thought about it. For 5 months, I heckled him because I'm not a very patient person, or at least I wasn't at the time. Back then, I was extremely impatient. I got impatient really quick. For 5 months, every other day, I would message him, heckling him about it, saying, have you sent the toy yet? Have you sent the toy yet? Have you sent the toy yet? And Mike, if you're watching this, Mike was a very, very, very easygoing guy, and he still is, as far as I know. He never got really agitated with me in any of my messages. He would always message back saying, calm down, dude, just relax, patience will pay off. You'll get him when I get the chance to send him. I would be very busy. I'll send you when I have the chance. 5 months later, after the initial conversation started, I finally get my Masterpiece Optimus Prime in the mail. My dad brings me the box. I open up the box. I actually forgot all about the special surprise that he had packed with him. I opened the box, and on top of the bubble wrap was Transformers Animated Deluxe Class Cybertron Mode Optimus Prime. pre-ordered from an early release figure from the 2008 Transformers animated toy line for the Transformers animated show that had just come out that year. I was floored. I didn't think at all about it, because at that time I was actually kind of antsy and kind of iffy about getting any of the animated toys, because at the time, to me, most of them kind of looked ugly, as opposed to the movie toys. Which, let's face it, a lot of the movie figures look ugly. But I digress. Before I even unwrapped all the bubble wrap to even get to Masterpiece Prime, I was looking at that animated Deluxe Optimus Prime. And, Mike, if you're watching this, I actually had a tear coming down the side of my eye. Because I wasn't expecting that. I really wasn't. And it was such... I mean, when you said you were sending me a surprise, you literally meant it was a surprise. I was speechless. My dad made fun of me because I was crying. My dad made fun of me because I was crying over a toy. Over a freaking toy. But he didn't understand. He didn't understand what it means to get a very special gift from somebody that you've never even met, except for over the internet on YouTube. And honestly, I was excited just from the Deluxe Optimus Prime. I mean, I was so excited that I immediately opened him up. I couldn't wait. I literally immediately opened him up. And, I was just floored. I didn't even transform him. I just left him in his little truck mode. I set him aside on the table, on the kitchen table. I unwrapped all the bubble wrap. And I had more tears coming because I actually saw Optimus Prime in his box, surrounded by bubble wrap, with all of his accessories, his axe, his Megatron gun, and his iconic ion rifle. And the Matrix. Can't forget the Matrix. For a good 3 hours, my hands never left that figure after I got him out of the box. I just kept transforming him from robot to truck, from truck to robot, back and forth for 3 hours. I just couldn't put him down. I literally couldn't put him down for 3 hours, and finally I had to go to bed. And then a week later, I responded to the next day, I responded to Mike over YouTube, thanking him in a private message, telling him that the package has finally come and that I was eternally grateful. A week later, I did a review of the animated Deluxe Optimus Prime. I did the review, and then the next day, on my birthday, I reviewed the Masterpiece Optimus Prime figure. I, to this day, still don't know what to say, Mike, if you're watching this. Because I know you watch my videos. At least some of them. But if you're watching this to this day, even 5 years later, I still don't know what to say. As I said, my dad didn't understand what it meant to receive a gift like that from somebody you've never physically even met. Somebody you've only known over YouTube for a short period of time at that time. And I mean, despite the fact that he fell over a month later and his knees broke, which I still haven't been able to replace, by the way, because it's impossible. Especially now that the new Optimus Prime Masterpiece figure is released and all that. On top of the other Masterpiece figures coming out. Aside from the physical part of it, that is literally, to this day, and it honestly always will be, my most prized Transformers possession. Even if somewhere down the line I eventually get Fortress Maximus. Fortress Maximus will only be number 2 in the line of the collection, directly below Masterpiece Optimus Prime. I could shell $200-300 on eBay or more and get a whole new Masterpiece Optimus Prime original mold. But I won't do that. I refuse to do that. Because that was a gift from you, Mike. And to this day, I can't thank you enough for even considering paying the ridiculous amount of money that I'm fairly sure you even had to pay to get the guy. I don't know how much you paid for him. It's not my business to know. But the thought about it really meant a lot to me at that time. And it still means a lot to me today. 5 years later. It still gets me. Every day I look at that Masterpiece figure, I look at that Optimus Prime in his truck mode, because like I said, his knee's busted. He can't stand in his robot anymore unless I lean him against a wall. And where my shelf is on my entertainment center, it's catty-cornered. It's not on a wall, so I can't stand him up. But every day I look at that figure and I can't help but think, Nightslash2020, Mike sent that to me as a birthday present. It still hits me today, Mike. Like I said, I don't know if you're watching this video or not, because I know you watch some of them, if not all of them. But if you are watching this, I still to this day thank you a lot for sending that to me. It really meant a lot to me. And it still does. And I can't possibly thank you enough. And I'm not even sure if there's even a way that I could ever repay you for that. If you even want me to repay you. Because I don't have any money right now. But if I could send you a gift in return, I would. But I can't right now. But all I can do is honestly say, is making this video for you and honestly say, thank you, Mike. Honestly, this is a very long overdue video. I should have made this video 5 years ago when I first got the figure. But hey, better late than never, right? But seriously, Mike, I can't possibly thank you enough for it. And I don't think I ever will. But I really appreciate the thought about it. And I mean, I'm pretty sure you felt the same way when I sent you Red Alert all those years ago. But the fact that you sent one of the most expensive Transformers at that time, besides Fortress Maximus, it still hits me right here every time that I look at him. Because if you hadn't have got that for me, I probably never would have gotten them. I probably would have never, ever gotten Masterpiece Optimus Prime if you never sent him to me. So I say again, Mike, thank you very much.